Hello there everyone, this is I Mark III and welcome back to Final Destination. Welcome back to the AI overlord in charge of the expansion of humanity. Nothing can ever go wrong with this forever and ever, amen. Yeah, I think that kind of sums us up. But after doing last time, which was I think explaining what I could in a condensed format, I think maybe I went too far into going, this does this, that does that, X equals Y. I don't know. But it did take me away from the rest of the game, so we're going to get back to it. That colony requires nickel. Requires nickel for its next expansion, which means Mars might as well. So let's begin. I have two goals for this episode. First off is space exploration. I want to find out what territory is available and what resources I can get, that kind of thing. And the other is I want to actually get nickel production going around Jupiter. Yep, there's the request, nickel from here. So we want to get that tech as well. Oh wait, no. I got distracted by the nickel. The shiny thing distracted me, I'm sorry. I'll also tell it to pick up copper while it's at it as well. Give me all that copper, because very important stuff. Now, the other goal is to get a construction ship going, because we will need a construction ship to automate going out and building and upgrading and repairing our stuff. So, kind of important that. In fact, I did a little poking around offline in a new game, just like acquainting myself with some of the foibles of the system, just to have a look at it. In particular, I was looking at the construction bots, which are small, cute. They're even on the game's splash loading screen when you first load the game. But they actually have some functional limits. They can only draw resources from a resource zone, like this one, and it has to be either lying in the resource level here or in one of these conveyor pipes for the bots to grab it. They can't actually grab out of the denser storage units, so that is a limit on their functionality, and it's why, well, I'm pretty sure that's why the upgraded construction ships actually do away with them. See, the tier 1 has them, tier 2s and 3s don't, because they switch over to purely construction lasers, which is a shame, honestly. Anyway, let's go on. First off, the more boring part of it, which I'll probably time skip and then recap at the end, which is I need to explore space and see what's around here. And that just means basically I have to jump my ship into every possible sector and find out what's there. We are in... Yep, this 1-star place has no resource, so it's just a place that's a bit more expensive. 10,000 instead of 1,000. That's all it is. But down this corner there should be the Red Empire, and then top right should be the yellow. Ah, there we go, Red Empire. Likes missiles. And yeah, likes missiles. Also weak to lasers, it seems. No, different armor. I forgot, the AI does adapt a little bit based on what's going on around it. But anyway, lots of random jumping into blind sectors. Truly the safest way to explore the world. Ah, copper. This might be my primary copper source, actually. We'll have to wait and see. Ah, we've just met the other faction, the Ancients. And these guys... Ah, these guys are actually armed with railguns this time around. Odd. Normally, whenever I see the Ancients, they're actually fitted with lasers. What seems to be... I think that's a pretty high-tech one as well. Titanium shell, yeah, that's one of the highest level ones. Are you low level? What grade are you using? Electric steel, mid-level. Weird. There's a bit more variability in this game than I was aware of. Okay, there we go. Exploration has been done, including a couple of very odd orphan nodes in the void of space in a few spots. That's kind of rare, but that's because stars get most of the planets and things. Anyway, let's move on. Right here we've got iron ore, which we didn't know about. We've got copper, that is our main copper source. We've also only got one access route this way as well. Next up is a gold ore source, which we need for all of our mid to high tier stuff. Very important. Right next to silicon, which is again used for a bunch of stuff later on. Mainly goods, honestly, that one. But as we push deeper, a lot of our resource worlds are close together. We've got an extra oil source up here. We've got uranium, which is our top tier power resource. A second copper, and rarely enough, a third oil. We've also got one titanium, which is here on the border of green. Though to get to it, we have to go double back around there. Luckily, distance doesn't really affect ship jump time or anything like that. Just as well, really. So, with that in mind, we can now plan our expansion, which is going to be very boring, and just follow the corridor, really. I'm going to skip the asteroid sector, but then just planet, planet, planet. Grab these two. Well, that one I don't need just yet, but I like to take the second iron ore place and turn that to steel plate production, because we tend to need a bunch of those. But copper, uranium, most of our stuff we need is just on this one line. So that's how it's going to have to be. Now that said, notice a lot of 2-star sectors up here. We can't claim 2-star sectors as yet because our ship just can't cope with it. Because those sectors require 100,000 battery reserve. But the next step is probably going to be to claim as many worlds as we can, so we can get all of our chains and things going all over the darn place. Got to bear in mind though, I forgot, so I went back and double checked with the part 1. We do have an AI aggression set. Was it? Oh yeah, sector limit tech. Oops. I forgot a thing. There is actually a hard limit on sectors, which you need to improve this tech to increase. But I will research that to get an extra 8 sectors, and then I can tell this to prioritize max, so it becomes the first thing done. And that'll work out quite well. But yeah, I'm going to claim basically a whole bunch of these things. In fact, I think I can claim all of these without annoying green, which is quite important. I'll do a recount and be sure. But anyway, yeah. Come back when I've got a tech and a lot of colonies that are quote-unquote depending on me. One slight pause here, just as a quick stopover, is to get to the last couple of colony spots. 6. I kind of want to get 100,000 in terms of power capacity. That way I can go ahead and get the last couple of colony spots. So with that in mind, I'm just doing some very quick bodging onto my core ship. I could have waited until I got a higher tier battery tech, but I kind of want to get this done now without waiting for that, because getting the higher tier battery tech is actually rather a pain, because you have to get gold and a bunch of other stuff. So doing this right now, I think it should give me enough power capacity to do that. Yeah, that's got me over 100 comfortably. There we go. Total capacity is now at 110. Let's go ahead and go and refuel. I say refuel, recharge our batteries. And also of note, as a quick aside, is I grabbed coolant tech, which is like 2,000 experience points. But I grabbed that because we got a colony which requires coolant. That's all I'm going to say on that right now, but we'll touch back on that one in a little bit when it comes time to sort them out. Okay, that was a little bit painful, but I've got them all. Basically, I had to jump back to the power station and resupply every time, because the transport ship couldn't fully refill the battery banks on my flagship at the moment. So, flagship might be pressed into service as an energy carrier, but It's still my flagship. I might just park it in another sector when this is all done. For now, though, we have bumped into the other part of the RNG nature, which is the constant requirement of a resource for a planet to survive with its human colony. Like this planet here, it supplies oil. I don't know why it requires a steady supply of high explosive rockets to live, but apparently it does. It's not the only one either. Right, so this world here requires red laser lenses. So producing copper in this place apparently requires high megawatt power lasers for some reason. This one requires iron and nickel composites. So as I mentioned previously, composites are required in general. This one requires iron and nickel. This place, a bit more understandable. It's a molten death world of some kind producing titanium, so it requires multi-tools, which is a mid-tier manufactured product. This world requires fuel, which is a bit of an issue considering we're short on fuel, but we do have another supply of oil, that said, in this world here, so we can actually start doing something about that. Then this world over here requires electrical steel shells, so for some reason it requires cannons to operate on this barren little world over here. And this barren moonlet requires cruise missiles, of all things. I don't know why. It just requires cruise missiles. Lord only knows what they get up to down there. It's probably for high yield entertainment or something. Anyway, and then lastly down here, this little rock that produces iron ore, as I mentioned earlier, coolant is the one that one requires. Oh, and this water world, circuits. So a bit more reasonable there. I don't know, but yeah, we need to start getting some things sorted out. So this place is struggling a bit with fuel reserves, but we need to get our trades set up, at least for now. So fuel we can do. We're going to do the same as with our iron ingot supply, and we're going to set that to a priority 6, confirm, because it's a maintenance planet, that one. As for the rest, that is plastic plates, so we'll go ahead and get a supply of that. Require some iron ingots, give me a supply of that to upgrade you. You are actually producing oil. Our transports can go down to the surface and pick that up, so I'll tell it to help supply whenever this place is short on oil. So let's say a batch size of 150 as a priority 5, confirm. So a bit higher priority than the run-of-the-mill, but if the tanks over here can take 150, it'll try and grab some from here. And then we just keep on going like this. So you need iron ore, sorry, not iron ore, you need iron, you need iron, you need iron. Notice having one selected, it highlights all of the ones, so it makes it a bit easier to drag and drop all over the place. Like this place requires the ingots as well. Off you go. Plastic plates, yes. You require some fuel as well. You'll get it, but you're on a lower priority. And stuff like that. But we have other things we need to be doing. So let's go ahead and retrieve our command ship. I want you to jump back to, let's say, your new home, Earth sector. There we go. Because we need to work on a construction ship. The question is, how do I want the ship to be able to use little robot drones? I don't know. I'm leaning towards a solid maybe. In fact, why not? Why not have a ship that can actually use drones as well as lots of cannons? I mean, that seems to be an unusual thing, yes? So, let us ruminate on this a little bit. Let us plan our diabolical machination of evil. Big boss Constructor-tron. Yes, Constructor-tron. It's a transformer. It's a Decepticon, because Decepticons usually have on in the end of the name. Megatron, eat your heart out. Big boss Constructicon is here to take your job. Maybe. Let me do the Okay, so here's what we've got going on so far. 719 cells. Don't have any power supply in yet. We've got wells for 5 construction cannons. We've got position points for local buffers of resources, which would be enough to keep it going, a la the setup on the Tier 2 and Tier 3 constructors in the default game. But what I'm working in here, maybe a bit stupidly of me, is piping. Mucho piping. So I figured one way I'd try to improve on it, quote unquote, is I'd have bigger storage buffers made out of Tier 2 storage up front, as soon as I get that tech. And then that would feed into a merged pipeline system to conserve space, and then that would split to feed into the individual Tier 1s, which would be in here. Might as well put them in, just to show you. But that brings us into a few problems with the pneumatic piping system, which is the fact, if I was pressing the right keys, wouldn't it? The fact that you can install a filter on one of these things, right? But the problem is, it's not a fill until you can and then just go the other way situation. It's actually a lock system. So if I had one split going off to one of these things, if this thing was full and there was more in the pipeline, it would go to here, it would try to push downwards into that junction, pretend that link there doesn't exist. It would try to push downwards, it couldn't, but then it wouldn't let it keep going. So it would stick there until there was space for it to move down this way into the storage. So the way I've figured out how to do that is, I have a split, then it merges back in again to maintain the flow of resources. But the actual thing that feeds off into the Tier 1 storage is here, right? So if this blocks up because it's full, then there's still this route around here for the main stream of resource to keep going. So that is how I would get around that and keep things flowing around these access points for the actual construction cannons themselves. And then I just have to work that in for each of these, because each construction cannon can accept, with this configuration, up to 6 resources. So we can have the ship configured for 6 different resource types. Because why not? Why make it easy? Why make it simple? Let's make it complex and make my brain hurt. So are we there? Are we clear as mud? I feel like I'm being as clear as mud. Ugh. But yes. Now I just have to lay out the pipeline for the rest of the ship. Wish me luck. I think I'm going to need it. Alas. Alas, alack. The dream was not meant to be. Unfortunately, this convoluted tangle is looking all very promising. Oh yes, it would work. It would do its thing. This thing would restock 5 construction cannons with 6 different kinds of resources each, just to make sure it's got some endurance. Unfortunately, 925 grid size, and the maximum size is 1,000 for a ship. Darn. If I want to get a resupply system going at all, if I want to get onboard computing, if I want to get power storage, there's more systems that needs to go into the ship, but the ship just can't support it because it's getting too big. Alas. Oh well, I guess that means that we'll just have to go with... I think we can still do it if we shrink down to a total of 4 construction cannons. And maybe be selective in what resources we resupply, or how much quote-unquote resupply there is. I think that would do, but I think lopping off 1 construction cannon is probably the quickest way to go about it. So let's go ahead and scrap this entire section of the nose. Oh well, I got it working. But no, it wasn't to be. Those bays do have to stay though, because they feed one of the resource types into it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yep, 1, 2, 3, yep, 1, 2, 3, yep. So those 2 are required bays up there. I can condense it slightly though, now that I've taken off the last can. But just doing that has knocked it down to like 750. That's 200 cells I've knocked off it. We will get this thing working yet, mark my words. We are making progress. We are making progress. 5. That's the thing that everyone likes to see, isn't it? I've only been at this for like an hour now. Yeah, an hour. But wait, wait, I am Mark III, I hear you say. Where'd the rest of the ship go? I could swear the blueprint was bigger than this. Well, you've been absolutely correct. It was actually a lot bigger than this. Oops. And then I realised that I was hitting the 900 odd limits again. And so it's like, you know what? I'm doing a lot for separation and stuff, so I'm going to have to put big old Constructor, because Maximus Personus here, I forget the name, on a crash diet. So I started tearing out and gutting everything, squidging things back together because they were separated by walls, but now the machinery will have to be connected to each other more directly like this, just to save on space. And I pared it down from the 960 odd mark to right before I installed those bits over there, it was like 530. And now we're at 760, so you can see why I was having a bit of trouble. Ignore that piece of blueprint just flying away into the distance back there. I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, 4 of these reserves, which are going to be used by a less constant material demand, I think gold probably, are going to be fed directly just by these. And then we're going to have a bigger supply of major construction materials, namely alloys and steel. And then that's when I'm going to leave this thing. So it's not going to be able to use every material by default, but it'll be able to store a fair bit of some of them, which I think is still a very, very marked improvement. Now I just have to work out how to get the drop storages to work, while accepting the fact that half of them are the wrong way around for gravity feed to work, because that's how I've designed this thing. Why make it easy, right? At least we've got the budget left over now for walls and things, which we didn't before, which is still a really big improvement. How am I going to do this? You know, I think Big Maximus Constructor's biggest boyo chungus is a case of over-engineering as far as this game is concerned. I've put a layer 3 wall all around it. It's got the pipe systems and storage. It's got maximum bots count, by the way, which is 8. It's got 4 construction cannons, 4 resources which can be fed into by some bigger things which I've accepted are going to be there, so I've put these temporary walls in place to do things. Then loading bays here for robots to go in and grab resources. And where's all the doodads? Where's the fins? Where's the pointy bits that you've seen on my existing design so far? This design just doesn't have the space for it. Even now, it's at 994 out of a possible 1,000. Look at it. It's nuts. I feel like this engineering was not worth it, if I'm going to be entirely honest. It's way too complex. It does what I set out to do, but it's... I'm struggling to justify the ship's existence. And that's not something you want to be saying after you spent about a best part of a couple of hours on it. Oh dear, I do not know why this ship exists at all. And I'm the one that built the darn thing. Oh, that's a slight irregularity. I think we have just enough tiles to complete it. 999. Just fixing that. Just making it symmetrical as far as the outer hull was concerned. And that's it. That's all the craft can take. It can't tolerate any more customization. Oh, this poor design. Much abused, but it lives after a fashion. All it needs now is hatches, which is why I'm putting dents into the sides of it, just for the bots to have a way in and out. And there we go. I guess let's build this darn thing. Let's build this monstrosity. Give me 30 times speed. Hello, energy carrier. How are you? Would I recommend doing this kind of engineering? No. By making the universal resupply system, I've made this ship far too complex. Would I recommend building customized construction ships? Yeah, absolutely. Just don't do what I did. I think that's the end of that day, isn't it? Okay, let's actually get... We still need to configure all the pipe splitters and the internal storage bays to store what I want them to store. So this is going to be a bit more to go, yeah. Well, that was unexpected. It has a construction account on it, but I made a modification, so it just went ahead and, you know, jumped out when I wasn't looking. Oh well, we got to see it in action in any of these. So we got the split thing going on there. We've got bots. We've got a little bit here for storing a little bit of gold to keep this thing operational. And now, if we dump in a little bit here, you can see what's going on. So this is a storage bay. It holds it for the bots to get to it. The question is if this will mess up the auto logic of the design. That I'm not entirely sure of. Also, I've just realised there is a slight problem here in the... I actually need this space as it turns out. So you go there, you go there. So you feed back straight into the loop again, because I need you to have a filter on you for that one. So I've just programmed it with the basic 3 materials as things stand right now. Also, one of the design feature is I've knocked holes in it, because as we know, newer tubes won't pump into space. So that's the kind of thing. But now, auto logic, auto builder. Jumps, it does that. The boss getting some stocks up, that kind of thing. And it's good to go. We now have ourselves a constructor. So, we have things to do. We have resources to process and all that jazz. For example, we require nickel to upgrade some of our colonies. So let's begin. And you'll see what I've got. Station, custom, station core, build. Yes, out of iron. There we go, space station Jupiter. We are building in pause mode, very specifically, because we have an automatic construction ship available. Why do I say I'm building in pause mode? Because of a construction ship? Because, well... said construction ship will jump in to begin construction projects. So far so good, right? The problem is it jumps in a random position around the thing being built. So I paused it so that we don't have the ship just suddenly randomly jump in and create a problem by being in a place where I'm trying to build, so I have to move it to get it out of the way. So yeah, I know. The construction ship gets a bit overeager, essentially. And we have to tell it to go play somewhere else for a few minutes. Or something to that effect. I'm just quickly laying down here a more condensed form of production. I mean, if you recall, we went to this, we've got the drop storage going on here. We've got an example here of what I'm starting to do, which is like get a block of production then into a block of storage. I'm doing the same kind of thing here. But this time I'm doing it with the stampers and the furnaces. I'm also leaving a space, so when I get next tier of storage, I can just delete that. And I have a square of space ready to go just to accept the next thing as well. But this is a nice condensed thing just to make sure that I get a ton of storage space. Along with... newer tubes, please. Thank you. A ton of storage space along with condensed production to reduce the total block count. Which is honestly a more efficient way. Though, as I said before, I kind of like it with the dropped one because it looks nice, it looks industrial, it looks like things are all busy moving, that kind of thing. And so I did prefer it that way, but the fact is that having these storages is just flat out more efficient. So I'm going to do that like this. And then build those stacks as I showed previously in the previous episode. So I'll do it like that. And this time I'm actually going to grab a blueprint for this one of copy, save the module as a dense stamper. Setup 1, I guess. Just alarm. I know it's time. Thank you. So I've grabbed a blank copy of that. So we've got blank one. We've got a random module which I need to. There we go. Basic processor module there. Then this is like a dense one. As you can see, it's got like this takes less volume than this one, but it's got 3 times the machinery. So that's why it's like a more effective use of my overall space. But I'm going to tell it to nickel. Going to tell you to take nickel ingots. All stampers are going to be set to that. Copy to all. Check it. Nope, not everything. Okay. Nickel, copy to all. Yes. Then you produce nickel ore. Close. And that should all be gone good. And now we unpause it, and we're going to get a visitor in a few moments. Ta-da! The boss constructor has turned up. And we never installed those hatches, did we? Whoops. We must have hatches. We can't have a spaceship without hatches, darn it. There we go. Things are starting. Though we can actually do something to improve the construction straight away. We might as well. Which is, we want stationary weapon limit. We can grab a couple of iterations of that, just to speed things up. Now, of course, the problem is, one problem the ship has is it doesn't actually have a very good reserve for iron. So it tends to run dry fairly quickly for suppliers going to the bots, unfortunately, because of how they're plugged into everything else. When we get better storage, that should improve, hopefully. See, the bots are trying to help, bless them, but they can't. What I can do now is I can install another cannon. Wait, did I do the wrong thing? No, I am researching the right one. I think that was something else that popped up and made me think it was a research done. There it is. Tech, give me an additional cannon. And yeah, okay, now notice the problem. This design is actually misconfigured ever so slightly. Also, it's now got iron in storage when it can't actually do anything with it. So that's actually a slight problem. The question is, why aren't you doing anything? It's because there's already storage in here, and yet there's nothing going on that can take it. So to get this craft working at least a bit, we have to actually have a cannon in this slot here instead. Okay. We also need to get our main ship in to fix it. Okay, go ahead and get that thing working, please. There we go, so now it can actually tap that storage. All storages can now be tapped, except for gold storage, so we need another cannon there, and then we'll be able to drain any and all supplies it needs. More importantly, though, this is currently building stuff. But now I'll just show you, like, if I copy this and then paste it, suddenly it's getting built. So that's why it's a good idea to pause it when you've got a ship set to auto-construct. One there, yes. And there we go, we have ourselves a decent supply of nickel. Now one thing we will do is, just for massive speed, we are going to grab station core, station core, station core. There's the station core. Build a new station core here. Okay. Then we need to get our little trade port onto it because I didn't include that in the thing. So a trade hub. Then I want our dense stamping setup, which goes just like that. And we have ourselves a thing of beauty because we suddenly have copper as soon as we get all the things set up properly. And that's why I wanted blueprints. That's job's a good one. We now have a source of copper. Haha. Bless them. The twin beams are doing their best. Though I think this design will only really use its construction bots while there's a surplus of materials to fill those feeding bays for them. Which is a shame, I didn't really consider that when I was building it. Further evidence that I over-engineered the darn thing. At least that's my thoughts on it anyway. In other news, I think we can get another cannon, can't we? Yes, we can. Because we must build more. Except for the fact that that one's out of iron. There we go. Copper. You need to move aside because I want you to do something else. Move. What I want is to very quickly grab and expand that storage up to the 100 mark. No, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to teleport out a resource. Ew. There we go. As soon as we get a fourth cannon on that thing, the better. Because right now, 3 is actually making an uneven drain on resources. Which is an odd thing to say, I know, but there you go. More importantly though, we do have some things we can do. Stuff we need to do actually. Which is to stop pressing the wrong hotkeys, ideally. I want a additional pair of bulk haulers. Again, pressing the wrong key. So that we got those guys running around. I told you our fleet would expand. And I'll also tell it we want an extra energy transport as well. So that way we've got some extra redundancy in our system. And then while our ship's doing that, I will go ahead and zoom out. And we'll start telling us stuff where to go. So, priority 1 is going to be colony upgrades, which is these guys. Priority 5. 5, confirm. And then we just need to tell it where else to send its stuff. We've only got these 3 colonies actually capable of upgrading because we're not feeding supplies for the others just yet. Except for this one. This one can upgrade with plastic plate, actually. We could do that. Just move it around. Confirm. And then it's just a matter of creating all of our supply lines. So, copper can go from here to here and here and here. Almost entirely this is going to be upgrading our actual resource deposits rather than the actual colonies because, you know, as I said, colonies are not being supplied at all. Oh, except that one is actually a colony supply line. I've just realised. Confirm that for a priority 6. Then those 2 at priority 5. This is another reason why we want more ships doing stuff. Because we're about to need a bunch more transport capacity. Then these big chunky ones, give them priority 4s because they take a while longer to do. Leave them be. And I think that's all of our things, except this one actually requires that to upgrade its water supply. More important though, while we were doing that, we've almost got an energy carrier, and we just need to get everything else sorted out. So let's go ahead and give it maximum speed. Oh, it's building all the way down there, okay. Let's actually get some text. Let's get improved storage, improved tanks. So that will allow us to do some more stuff. Also, maybe get don't need tech for that just yet. I was considering getting a tech to boost our research speed, but don't think we need that just yet. Look at the speed on the construction zone though. Okay, and bish bash bosh, we have ourselves some extra ships. So you're a transporter, and you are an energy carrier. The energy carrier is already jumping out to get supply. You're going to get oil, you're going to get fuel. So we definitely needed those guys, so they're already going out. Very well done. And suddenly our space is a bit more active. That said though, of course, we do need to end there, so it is what it is. What do we need for electric shell? Electric steel shell. Well, that other hotkey I keep hitting, Y, we can use that one to find out. Electric steel shell requires silicone. Okay, so we need silicon tech. Okay. Cruise missiles is next tier of missiles with circuits. Circuits requires plastic and ingots. So actually, yeah, it looks like circuits will be a solid investment going forward immediately. Followed by silicon tech. So let's start getting some more expensive techs. So grab that. Thing is, silicon ingots is actually behind this. So that's actually a bit hard to get. So let's see, missiles, light missiles, grab. Rocket launcher, okay. Cruise missiles, okay. Getting a bit ticklish on our supplies. Multi-tool, leave that because I know for a fact that requires this one, mech parts, which is behind steel plates. So that's a bit of a hard one. And notice that every branch we go into doubles the cost of research. So here's the tier 2 storage all the way here behind gold. So that is a long way in. A long, long way in. But I think we're starting to get some tech so we can start doing stuff like, what's this one? Iron nickel composite. That's actually behind mech parts. So I think our order will be this one, then through here. And notice iron nickel composite to start feeding that colony costs 256,000 points to get. So it might not be worth grabbing that straight away, to be honest. Let's put silicon low priority because circuits seems to be an important one. But yeah, after dragging that out by going, maybe we should do some research first, let's go ahead and end it there. This has been iMark3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying the show, and we'll catch you all some other time. Yeah, see you all later. Once again, colony level. Oh, Mars requires multi-tools. We need multi-tools sooner rather than later, actually. Steel